Alright, the conference finals are starting in about an hour, and I can safely say I really don't know what to expect. Last year I thought I had a pretty good idea. Wasn't necessarily right in both instances, but in both series this year, I really am going to be very interested in seeing what's going to happen because my prediction is that both series go 7 games. And when I predict something like that, that's a pretty good indicator that I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm very interested to see how it goes down. So, let's start with the series that starts in an hour. Orlando and Boston. I've been crazy impressed by really both teams so far this postseason. We saw both teams really put their foot down and not let a series get extended to the point where they could be realistically threatened. Orlando, in particular, going on the road and winning 4 playoff games this postseason. They have so many players that can play well in a game that they have so many people to turn to when other players aren't playing well. If Dwight Howard doesn't play well over the course of an entire series like he did in round one, hey, it's okay. They can turn to somebody else. They can turn to Jameer Nelson or Vince Carter, or, even J.J. Redick can carry the show for a little while. Like, if Vince Carter isn't there, they can turn to Matt Barnes to hit threes. Michael Petrus, they can look at, Rashard Lewis, Ryan Anderson. Any of these guys don't play well, it really doesn't matter because there are going to be other people who can step up to replace them. So they're really deep, and I was crazy impressed with what they did against Atlanta because, Atlanta is a team that can't match up with Orlando, but they're not a bad team. They should have been good enough to win 1 game in that series, but Orlando just put their foot down. On the Boston side, obviously, they came to life in the Miami series, put their mark on the Heat. They needed one of the best games I've ever seen from Dwayne Wade to not get that sweep. And, letting Dwayne Wade go off like that is a little bit of a problem, but they looked great in that series. And then last series, they won 2 games in Cleveland. Both games were blowouts. They really looked like the better team throughout that whole series. They had different people show up at different junctures. KG looks great. I mean, KG looks as good as he has all season. I was really impressed with that. Rondo obviously had a great postseason so far. Obviously, last series he was huge. It's really about those 2 guys. They do get good contributions from, sometimes Michael Finley hits a 3. I don't know why he's playing in the playoffs, but it's about those 2 guys, I think, more than anything. I can't think of other Boston players who I really trust at this point, but those 2 guys, yes. With that all being said, I think Orlando's going to win this series in 7. I just think they're much deeper. Actually maybe 2 or 3 times deeper. I think they're the better team. They have a much deeper bench. I don't really trust anybody on the Boston bench. Now that I really think about it, I guess the guy I like the most is Tony Allen, and I sure as hell don't trust him. So, I'm going to say Orlando in 7. I think it's going to be a great series. It's going to come down to the last few minutes in a lot of these games, and I actually have Boston winning today. Just a funny feeling I have. But, yeah. Orlando in 7. As for the Western Conference Finals, the thing with this Phoenix team, we saw it in the San Antonio series in particular, like the Magic, they have so many people on that team who can shoot threes. They have really 7 people who can shoot threes on that team. It doesn't matter if a couple of them don't have a good game, because as long as just 2 people on that team show up and shoot threes well, they're shooting threes as a whole effectively. And that's not a tall order, It's not too much to ask that Steve Nash shoots well and Jason Richardson shoots well from 3. But if one of them doesn't, they can go to Jared Dudley. If he's not there, there's Channing Frye. If not that, Goran Dragic. If not that, Leandro Barbosa. And if not that, well, Grant Hill. There's so many guys they can turn to, and that says nothing of Amare, who's been playing out of his mind. Really not in the playoffs, but it's coming. He's going to show up at some point, and this series would be a good time for him to do it, and I kind of think he will. There's so many things that they can do, and I mean, we saw it with San Antonio. They couldn't do anything. They were helpless. They were pretty much helpless because so many people on the Suns can shoot threes, and we saw they couldn't match up with that. They didn't have enough players who could compete with that. As for the Lakers, well, they've come alive in, I would say, the last 6 playoff games. I really like what I've seen from them. They've been using their length, and the Suns can't match up with that length, really. You know, down low they have mainly Stoudemire, Collins, and Fry, and we don't know if they're going to have Lopez back. Getting Lopez back would be huge, but those 3 guys, they're not going to stop Gasol, Odom, and Bynum. It's not going to happen. Even though Bynum's hurt, I think he's going to play well a few times this series at the very least, and that could be all the Lakers need to come out with victories. You know, they've been hitting threes better. Kobe's been playing a lot better, and the Suns don't really have anybody who can stop Kobe anymore. They used to have Rajah Bell. They can try Grant Hill, but Grant Hill's too damn old. They can try Jared Dudley, but I don't think he's good enough. Richardson really isn't that kind of player, and yeah, they don't have much. And obviously, you know, the Suns can throw Steve Nash at Derek Fisher. That's a huge mismatch. Maybe they can force Kobe Bryant to defend on Steve Nash, tire him out, and who knows how effective that could even be because Steve Nash can do so many different things. So it's going to be a very interesting series. I'm going to say the length and size of the Lakers is too much. I think the Lakers are going to win in 7. I think it's going to be a great series. But at the end of the day, I just think the Suns are not going to be able to stop Kobe. I think they don't have the length to stop their big guys. And I really think that the Lakers as a whole have come alive on the, you know, in terms of shooting threes, in terms of getting stops, in terms of getting rebounds. I've liked everything I've seen from them. So yeah, I have both series going 7. It's going to make up for the second round, which wasn't very good. I'm ready for some great playoff basketball. So buckle up, everybody. I'll see you guys later. I'm going to talk about some other stuff eventually. God damn it. I really need to get some football and even some baseball stuff out. But it's going to happen soon, so just wait for it. See ya.